What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another one. BMW M5, courtesy of Apple BMW in York, PA. And for me, I've not yet experienced the M5, so I'm super excited to be reviewing this one completely for you guys today. So as always, let's start with pricing. And so there are essentially two ways you could set up the M5. The standard M5, which is going to start at $102,700, and then the M5 competition for $110,000 even. With either setup that you go with, the power plant is going to be the same. Powering this one is a 4.4 liter twin power turbocharged V8 engine, putting out 600 horsepower, 5,700 RPM, 553 pound-feet of torque, available at a very wide power band, actually from 1,800 to 5,700 RPM. Power is going to be sent to all four wheels through BMW's four-wheel drive system, and that power is going to be sent to the ground through an 8-speed automatic with paddle shifters and launch control. We will be testing out the paddle shifters in a little bit here, but when you put all of that together, 0 to 60 time for the standard M5 comes in at 3.2 seconds. This is a family sedan that can hit 60 in 3.2. That is just ridiculous. And as you can imagine, it gets better with the M5 competition. That's going to add 17 horsepower, giving you a 0 to 60 time of 3.1, top speed 190 miles per hour if you wanted to test it out on the Autobahn. And in case you were curious, MPG numbers come in at approximately 15 in the city, 21 on the highway, with auto start stop functionality. So when you stopped at a stop sign, it's going to turn the engine off, help save you a couple MPGs, and you can turn that feature off if you wanted to as well. But so now, before I do the paddle shifter test, I did want to mention there are an additional 2 paddles, if you will, on the steering wheel in red. If you were curious what those are actually the memory settings for your drive modes. So there are a few different drive modes located just to the left of the shifter. You can adjust things like the suspension, the exhaust setup, and we'll get to that as well in a little bit. But it does have 2 different drive mode setups where you can save maybe for you and your significant other, so you can really better personalize the car to your own liking. But so now, having said that, let me put it in that paddle shift driving mode here. We are going to do a quick little acceleration, and we're going to see how quickly they react for us here in the 2019 M5. This car is quick, but yeah, the paddle shifters are insanely quick. Definitely no issues there. More than enough fun on the weekends, and why not? Holy crap. Yeah, this thing is sick. But so, of course, to go along with that acceleration, braking is equally important. And so the 2019 M5 will come with 4-wheel ventilated anti-lock disc brakes with cornering brake control. And up front, you will find 6-piston front calipers, single-piston rear calipers. And as far as the braking feel today, I have had absolutely no issues whatsoever. Another thing I wanted to mention is when you do let off the gas, the exhaust crackle is absolutely amazing. But when it comes to ride quality, the 2019 M5 does come standard with an adaptive M suspension with electronically controlled dampers, really giving you the best of both worlds, tightening up the suspension during heavy cornering, and at the same time reading the road's imperfections to provide you with more of a smoother ride as well. And it also will come with twin-tube gas pressurized shock absorbers, and there is a comfort mode when it comes to the suspension as well. So in a nutshell, when it comes to ride quality, I guess you could say it's not going to be as smooth as your regular 5 Series perhaps, but the trade-off is you are going to get absolutely insane power with this one, and really the ride quality isn't all that bad anyways. Then when it comes to the suspension, first thing I wanted to mention, when I first got into this one, I noticed this: the bolsters on the steering wheel are absolutely gigantic. I wish every single vehicle came with these kind of bolsters, because they are a lot thicker than most cars out there, and they definitely provide a better feel to your hands. It's giving you a better feeling of more control, I guess you could say. But to go along with those grips, you will find an M-specific suspension with the multi-link aluminum rear suspension. And if you really wanted to push the M5, if you go with that M5 competition package, that is going to give you a lower ride height along with retuned dampers. It's also going to stiffen the springs in the anti-roll bar by 10%. And in addition to that, the front suspension's upper links have been shortened for slightly more negative camber to help improve front cornering as well. And in my short driving stint today, as far as the steering feel goes, it's definitely on the heavier side as expected. So of course, definitely a very nice steering feel to the M5. As far as cabin noise goes, there really is lack thereof cabin noise. It is a very quiet cabin in this one as expected. This is a $110,000 car after all. And when it comes to visibility, really with any sedan, for the most part, we're definitely not going to have any issues, and that is definitely the case with the M5 as well. So no issues whatsoever for me. One additional thing when it comes to that visibility, there is also a head-up display, and a very large head-up display, I will say as well, giving you not only your speed, but the speed limit of any given road and your RPMs up there as well. That is definitely very nice. And the thing with this head-up display is you can adjust it vertically and from side to side as well. So that is definitely something I thought worth mentioning. But enough with the driving dynamics, you guys. Let me get in place here and let's check out the exterior of this new 2019 BMW M5. And so then taking a look up front, to the sides you will find icon adaptive full LED headlights that will come standard, and they are going to come with automatic high beams as well, so you don't have to worry about that at night. But within that front grille you will find a subtle M5 logo distinguishing itself from the rest of the 5 Series lineup. Then make your way to the sides. There is that M designation within that front fender. When it comes to the wheel setup on the M5, you will find a staggered fitment, 19 by 9.5 inches up front, 19 by 10.5 inches in the back. And if you go with the competition package, the wheel size is actually going to stay the same between the two, but will be a completely different design when it comes to that wheel setup. And that's really the easiest way to distinguish between the competition package versus the non-competition package that we have today. But also, I wanted to mention the power folding side mirrors. Definitely a very unique design. Kind of looks like the top part of the side mirrors is going to connect with the vehicle, but they actually don't. And I like that, but regardless, they are power folding heated side mirrors. And make your way to the back, you will find an M-specific rear spoiler just below that, LED taillights, and just below that you will also find a center rear diffuser along with dual exhaust outlets with quad tips. And since I have continuously mentioned the exhaust throughout this video, one of my favorite parts about the M5, you can indeed adjust that exhaust note. And by the way, the standard setup on the M5 is with that more pronounced exhaust system enabled, so that is pretty sweet. So you actually have to push the button to turn it off, because of course if you're driving an M5 it has to sound like a performance car, and it does. So now that I have described it in detail, let me let you guys hear it for yourself, and as always, here is that exhaust clip. So now, since we are around back, let me touch on how to open the rear trunk, because the M5 does come standard with a power rear trunk, and there is the availability of a hands-free rear trunk as well if you kick your foot underneath the rear bumper there. But once opened up, cargo capacity is going to come in at 18.7 cubic feet. If that was not enough space for you, there is a 40-20-40 rear split, so translation, you can fold down those rear seats for a ton of added space if you needed it there. Making your way up to the rear legroom, there is 36.5 inches of rear legroom back there. So for example, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I have back there. You're also going to find a rear armrest with cup holders, rear ventilation, but you will additionally find rear heated seats. It is a feature that is almost always an option on higher end vehicles, but it is going to come standard with the M5. But so now taking a look at the front seats here, you will find 20-way power adjustable front seats. If you cannot find your perfect driving position with 20-way power adjustable front seats, you are probably not going to find your perfect driving position. But anyways, with 20-way power adjustable seats, you can imagine there are shoulder and thigh support adjustments. I've been playing around with them. And of course, you do have memory settings for a couple different drivers as well. But looking forward, there is a tilt and telescoping steering wheel. It is leather wrapped and heated, and with some of the most pronounced bolsters I have ever experienced in a vehicle, which I absolutely love. And so, but then when it comes to the startup, let me first start by showing you guys the key. It does have a heavy metal feel to it. It has the M designation colors on the side and on the front. Lock, unlock, and the lock button is the BMW logo, but also the button to pop the rear hatch. But I am simply just going to put my foot on the brake here and press that red engine start button located just above the driver's right knee. When it comes to the gauge setup, you will find a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, and it is actually fully digital. There is a speedometer on the left, tachometer is going to be on your right. There is a small M5 designation within that tachometer, which looks really cool. And of course, you will find your trip information, different driving mode information, and whether or not you're in two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive is going to be standard, but if you turn off traction control, that is going to put you in rear-wheel drive. If you are an enthusiast that believe the M5 should only be available in rear-wheel drive, you've got it. And then taking a look at overall interior quality, of course, this is finished in typical BMW fashion with the Sensitech dashboard, merino leather finishes throughout, aluminum carbon interior trim. You will find a universal garage door opener as expected. Also, one of my favorite parts about the climate control is it is all touchscreen in front of the shifter there. So to turn the fan up, it is simply a touchscreen that you press to turn that fan up, or to turn on the heated or cooled seats, same deal. It is all touchscreen. It's digital. It's pretty cool. And as expected, you will find ambient lighting throughout this one as well. But now let me take you guys to the tech on the M5. Up front, you will find a 10.2-inch high-resolution touchscreen display that will come standard with a factory navigation system as well as Apple CarPlay, which didn't previously come on all BMWs, so that's pretty cool that that's there now. And you can check out the basics like your vehicle information or the weather forecast for wherever you are in the world. And then, of course, you can check out your radio settings. And again, one of my favorite parts here, because standard sound system on the 2019 M5 is going to be a 16-speaker Harman Kardon surround sound system with 600 watts ambient lighting within the front speaker that I noticed there. That is pretty intense as well, and you can turn that off if you wanted to, but 16 speakers and 600 watts. I think you guys know what we have to do next. Let's turn on the radio and test out the clarity of this one. Definitely a ton of bass, crystal clear, ton of loudness. Didn't think I would have any issues, but really absolutely amazing sound system as expected. And last thing I wanted to mention on that 10.2-inch digital display there is when you do put the M5 in reverse, you will find a rear view camera, and it is a 360-degree view, which can be adjusted to view different sides of the vehicle or different angles if you wish. So that is definitely an impressive one I found about the M5, but that, as always, is going to lead me into safety. And so you will find front, side, and side curtain airbags. Also in the back, there is latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats. Also, there will be an adaptive cruise control system along with lane departure warning, daytime pedestrian detection, blind spot detection, frontal collision warning, a city collision mitigation system, and an auto dimming rear view mirror. But in addition to that, also a driver's side dimming exterior mirror as well. Definitely don't see that on many vehicles out there. And so, but anyways, that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like the video and subscribe.